Good morning. Oh, look at you. Well, I can't not. Could you stand up, please? When we speak of coming of age, Monica Sicard. You are the perfect person to be here today because you are a demonstration of everything. I know Sandy's here. I'll see her. She's my girl too. Perfect demonstration of what I want to talk about today. I'm Reverend Jeri. My pronouns are she and her. And our theme for this month is spiritual alignment. What that means for me is I feel spiritually aligned when I'm doing what God wants me to do. And I know when I'm not doing it because, number one, I'm going, no, but I feel it. I feel off kilter, out of balance, something not quite right. And there's that nagging voice that won't shut up. I titled this talk, Stop, Listen, Act. Because we can all, find some place to stop and we can, listen, but if we don't do anything, then what are we really doing? Just listening and going, that's a good idea. Next. We have to do something. We have to act upon the urge within us. When I was, I'm going to say maybe 11, I started hearing things. Not in a you're crazy kind of way, although, I'll go there with you. Sometimes. I started hearing things, and I thought it was me just thinking. Ideas, inspirations, turn left, turn right as I got older. Get a lot of that. Go there. Get a lot of that direction. And for a long time, I just thought it was me thinking. And then in 2003, I took this class from my friend Marilyn Overcast, who God delivered through her a work called Fluency. And the class was designed to allow you to begin to understand how God is speaking to you. It was wonderful. And it was in that class that I went, that's not me thinking. I don't even talk like that. Those phrases and that syncopation of how I hear it, that's not me thinking. That's God talking to me. It was really a wonderful revelation. And in the last 20-some years, I pay attention to it. I listen, and sometimes I act. Not all the time. I have to be honest. There's a lot I say no to. But I hadn't taken Foundations, what we would call Beyond Limits. It's a beginning class here that'll, I encourage you to take it if you've not taken it, or take it again, because you'll come to that class differently than the last time you took it. And what it taught me was what we teach. And I know some of you might be new, and so I want to tell you what we teach and what I've come to believe. And it's really simple. God is present as everything in the entire universe. In the things we can't see, God is. In this chair, God is. In Dawn, God is. In me, in you, God simply is. There's a passage that I'm going to read later that says, I am not caught in your body, I am your body. God is. It's all of it. All the time, everywhere. And in my nose, is this right? Let me think a second. I was going to say, nothing bad has happened, but I don't know if that's true. But good didn't happen. That could have happened. That I know for sure. So you have to stop. That's the first thing you have to do. Just stop. I don't know about you, but my life is so busy, and my calendar, sometimes I look at my phone and I'm like, how many things can I fit in one day? And they're all things I want to do, mostly. I mean, every now and then it's a meeting that I'm like, okay, I'll go. But mostly it's stuff I want to do, but it's just filled. And I don't even have to clock in anywhere. I'm my own boss. I get to do what I want, when I want, for as long as I want, however I want. And my life is too full. And so I've learned to stop. I like to call it sit down and shut up. Yep, right? Yep. Just sit down and shut up. Lately, my mind just seems to have a million things it wants to talk about. Even when I'm sleeping. Could you shut up? I'll be honest, I didn't say this first service, but I had Cher stuck in my head for 3.5 weeks. And I needed to tell her that I did believe in a life after love. Stop. Make it stop. There's a way to find the quiet. And you know what it is. I can't tell you what it is. For me, it's sitting in a chair in my office. When I go like this today, I'm talking about my chair that I sit in. And I remember that I got that chair at a choir yard sale, back at the old choir light. God, I love that chair. Fits me perfect, fits me and my cat perfect. She's my little prayer cat. Only time I can hold her is when I'm in that chair. She don't want to be held any other time, but boy, do I want to snuggle if you're thinking about God. Isn't that funny? So I go to that chair every day. And maybe there's some place you go. You can do it in your car. You can do it in your backyard. If you're a busy mom with children, I have discovered from my niece that you can do it hiding in the bathroom. Like, where are you talking from? The bathroom, be quiet. But you need to find whatever it is. Maybe it's on a walk. Maybe it's in the middle of the grocery store where you tune out and you tune in. But it's imperative that you find some way to find that quiet place where you can begin to listen. For me, it's auditory. It's a voice. It's never me thinking. It is often a commanding voice, telling me to do something, do this, do that. Or sometimes it's just a word, and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to follow that word. God just didn't inspire all these holy books and then shut up. God's still speaking. There's a little church over in West Seattle that has a big banner that says so. I love that. God is still speaking. The other banner I love is never put a period where God put a comma. Brilliant advertising for a church. God is still speaking, and it's speaking in a way that you and I can understand. It's not going to try to make you learn some other way so then it could converse with you. It wants to converse with you because it's in you and as you and wants to go through you so that it can bless your life. I have this friend, she and I were talking about this idea that God is still speaking. And she was convinced that God does not speak to her. No, it doesn't. I'm like, yes, it does. I'm telling you. There's nobody special. She goes, oh, I know God talks to Kathy Ann. I know God talks to you. I'm like, we're not special. We don't have some hotline to the big guy. That's not how it works. It's all of us. It's everything. Why would it speak to one person and not another? One of the reasons we teach all paths lead to God, because God is speaking specifically to each person in a way they understand, in a way that brings them into communion with it. The God I understand just wants me to be in communion with it. And when I say no, I'm turning off the hearing aid. Most of you here that I can see that know me know that I said no to ministry. If you don't know, I said no. I said no, with some expletives because God obviously needed that because it wasn't listening to me. How many ways can I say it? How many words can I use? It will not take no for an answer. When it wants to express, trust me when I say, it will find a way. And it will eventually bring you to a place of yes. I am proof of it. Really. And the thing is, with the yes, there's a blessing. Because God's not just expressing through us, it's expressing in us, as us, for us, by us, with us, and through us. So did you hear the word for us? Right? It's for us. So what it does through us, it does for us. It's a cycle. It's cyclical. It's reciprocal. It expresses and then demonstrates to me a blessing, demonstrates to you the goodness that it is. It's a principle of goodness. So it's not going to urge you to do something and then go, ha, gotcha. It's not how it works. It's a principle of goodness. It wants to bless you. It wants to express through you. Can I have the slide? I want to tell you a little story. That's my friend Pearl. Pearl Rose Green. Her husband said he got a gem and a flower. They were something. She lived down the street in this tiny little house, tiny, 525 square feet, on the corner of my street. And one Sunday, I was driving 825 service. Remember those days? Yeah, I love that one. Get it done. Get you some God and go. One day I was driving home, and I had waved to her several times, and I want you to get the picture. So she's got her pants up to about here, and she's tiny, and she's hunched over. She has a horrible curve in her spine, and she's got this little white perm. She couldn't keep getting the perm at this point. This little tight white perm and these glasses with remember the old glasses with the metal at the top and the little flowers, and she's sitting there with her little pocketbook on her elbow at the bus stop. I'd see her and I'd wave, and that Sunday, loud as this, turn around. Turn around. I was like, what? Turn around. Okay. I just said okay. So I got to go way around the block, so I come back on her side. And I said, I'm Jeri, I'm your neighbor. Can I give you a ride somewhere? Now, we're strangers. Yes, we've waved at each other, but we're strangers. And she got in my car. Because God just wasn't expressing through me for my good. God was expressing through Pearl for her good and for our collective good. And so she got in my car, and I drove her to White Center, dropped her off to get breakfast, and then she was going to her little Church of Christ church in White Center. She's a good Christian lady. She loved God. She was a pistol. That day, on the way, I grabbed some piece of paper out of my glove compartment and wrote down my name and my phone number, and I told her about this thing my friends and I had done. We created this giving, caring, sharing fund to help people because we got sick of giving each other Christmas presents that were unnecessary. Nobody needed anything in our group. We all got what we need. Then we pared it down to we'll just give it to one person. No, that's still ridiculous. So we pooled our money and started doing things. People would say, oh, let's go do it for this person, that person. I told her, I said, if you need your fence fixed, you need some painting done, you got a big yard, we can mow your yard, whatever. She never called. Never called, and I'd pick her up if, our paths crossed like that. Me coming, her going, I'd pick her up, take her to her little breakfast spot. We'd talk, we got friendly. And then one day, She did call. She wanted me to announce, she has a Tennessee accent, so it was like picking up my own grandmother the first time. She was like, I need to go to the Target. Not Target, the Target. I need some cat food and some coffee, and I discovered donuts, because she never went to Target without getting donuts. And so I took her, and, so then, every now and then I would do something, but she never called for help. And then one day, she called me, and she was so cold. She was cold, cold, cold. I'd look at her. She weighed 74 pounds. And I was like, oh, I'll come right down. So I came down, and her furnace wasn't on. It had turned into fall. So I got her furnace turned on. And I said, I'm going to come back in about 3 hours, check on you, because I have to go to a class. So I did that. When I came back, the cat dish on the porch where she fed raccoons and stray cats, a lot of raccoons, I might add, was filled with ground coffee. That's what I said. Oh, that's not the girl I saw 3 hours ago. What's going on? So I went in, and I noticed pinned to the wall above the chair she sat in was that note I gave her all those years ago. She'd been sitting under it. Jeri, help with anything. My phone number. She kept these little notebooks. I just remembering this. Little tiny spiral notebooks. I'm sure she got them at the Target. And all through them is my name. She'd list things in the Jeri, neighbor, help with anything. So God was speaking to her. That just came to me. So anyway, I convince her. She's in a lot of pain. And I convince her by asking her over and over, do we need to go to the hospital? Because her doctor couldn't tell me anything about her. So we went to the hospital. Her sodium had gotten low, and that'll make you crazy. And that's why the coffee was in the cat dish. And they got her straightened out in a couple days, but they said she can't go home. She can't be by herself. So she had all these things she has to take. She'd survived all kinds of cancers and terrible falls. And they're like, can you take her 24/7? And I always remember they're going, oh, so you're her daughter? I'm like, no, I'm her neighbor. She didn't have a daughter. She didn't have a son. She no longer had a husband. She had some church friends. And they said, well, she'll need to go to skilled care. And so I got her into skilled care. And then I got her into the next step, which was assisted living. And then eventually into an adult family home where she drew her last breath, and I was there. Yeah, it's a remarkable story. Like I could never have imagined that story being part of my life. Some little old lady from Tennessee and me. And she would say, oh, we're like sisters. And I said, you're like my grandmother. I'm not that old. And when she was in assisted living, we would, God help me, we would watch every episode of The Waltons that ever was. I kid you not, over that year, we watched every episode. And sometimes, to my dismay, Little House on the Prairie. No offense to anybody that loves that, but we developed this really, really deep, deep friendship. And all through it, we recognized that God put us together. It wasn't lost on us for a moment that God put us together so that sweet, snaggle-toothed little old lady with a wicked sense of humor could bless my life and I could bless hers. And there were people in this congregation that helped me when she had to go to assisted living. I'm like, I need a recliner. She can't lay down. Recliner showed up. Anybody got a sofa? I need somewhere to sit. Sofa showed up. All of it, the expression of God. And God's doing that in your life too. This is just one example of how it's done it in my life. When I finally gave in to ministry, blessings started. It really did. It's been 7 years since I started and got to this moment. About 7, right? 8. 2016. Who'd have thunk it? And it's been this, the no was so vehement. I'm not doing that. Ask anything else. I'm not doing that. I'll sing in the choir. But I sang like this, I sang like this. No one knew I could sing because I was so afraid to show up. You laugh, I'm not kidding. And people that are with me in the choir now, they're like, really? I'm like, really? There's a blessing that you're saying no to. That's what I want you to hear today. Because let's say there's 100 of you here. I don't know, I can't count. There's at least 100, counting you online. I bet you at least half of you know there's something that you ought to be doing. Not ought in a like, I should be, but ought because you know God's asking you to. It could seem like something small, like a phone call. There's a phone call you should make, and you keep putting it off. God needs to express through you to that person, and that person to you. There's nothing big or little. It might be something so big it scares the bejesus out of you, like you're going to be a minister. No, I'm not. It could be that big. It could be something in your daily life. It could be some book you're supposed to write, Jeri Hudson. I didn't confess to that first service either. Whew. Yeah. So 4 years ago, right when COVID was happening, it's a little over 4, I came home agitated. I was so agitated, I was just like, ugh! And nothing had happened. I'd gone to the grocery store, nothing had happened. And I said out loud, what should I do? And that voice said, pray. And I was like, yeah, duh. No, pray. What does that look like? Bigger than you. And so that's how Anchored in Prayer, the morning prayer that happens every day at 7 a.m. I thought it was going to be 40. Apparently, it's forever. That I get to get up at 6 and get a video on at 6:30 so you can have quiet time. Now, some people think it just starts at 7, but really, it starts at 6:30, and it is quiet time. And I am in my chair, in my office, with my little cat, asking God, what are we doing today? Because I can tell you for sure, for 4.5 years, it has never been me. And that's astonishing to me. There was one day when I was like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? I was like, what are you even asking for? It's not yours. It's God's blessing out in the world that blesses me. There's a fabulous book. My favorite Ernest Holmes book, Your Invisible Power. Now, you can get it in the bookstore if there's any left. I don't know, there was a run on them. In this book, Your Spiritual Power, that's an anthology with 7 books. I really love Pray and Prosper as well. But in this book, in a section called I Am the Christ Within You, he writes this. And this book is written in first person, which is one of the reasons I like it. It's like you're having a conversation with God. I am the Christ within you. Be still and know that I am that which thou art, and thou art that which I am. Be still and know that I am God within you. Be still and know that every atom of your body is in tune with perfect life. Be still and know that every organ of your body is in harmony with me. Be still and know that every activity of your physical being moves in accord with my divine perfection. I am the principle of perfection within you, and I am also the activity of that principle, forever manifesting myself in perfect form. That's why it's a blessing. That's why it's good. I am not caught in your body. I am your body, never limited by its action. I produce its action. God through us. That's why you don't have to know how to do it. You don't have to know anything. You just have to say yes and act. By some divine intuition, I love this paragraph. By some divine intuition, by some inner whispering of your soul, by some light upon your path, you have progressed. I am that light, that urge, that whisper, that voice. My friend that thought God didn't talk to her discovered in our conversation that God used light to speak with her, to converse with her, to commune with her. I don't know if I finished that, but that's what it was. It used light. Every time she was inspired, light was involved. And that moment when I'm going to say figured it out, realized it, it was miraculous. It was life-changing for her to go, oh, it's me too. Right, I'm not special. It's all of us. On page 28, you are the execution of my will, as I am the one within you which conceives the purpose of that will. I am the love. You are the beloved. Right? I'm the love. You're the beloved. What if we just took that around? I'm the beloved. Stand up a little taller. Seriously. Not like, oh, I'm the beloved, but I'm the beloved. Look at me. That's right. You are. So am I. So is everyone. So are the people that you think are so far lost, so far removed from what you consider to be good. Yes, you know what names we're talking about. They're the beloved. They have to be. Because if they're not, that means I'm not. That means you're not. I am the abstract. You're the concrete. I'm the impersonal. You are the personal. There is no you without me. There's no you without me, says God. Because God is. Because I am. You are as an individual, but one unique manifestation of my being. I am that which you recognize, and I am the intelligence which responds in each and all. So, what are you saying no to? I knew all the time I was saying no. That nagging God wasn't going to take no for an answer, but I pretended like it would. And it took it, what did I say, 10 years? 10 years I said no. Well, don't do that. What is it? You know. What I ask you to do today, because you know, is to act upon it. That urge, that desire, that whisper, that ray of light, whatever it is, that voice in your head, say yes to it and see what happens. I'm going to stand here. I'm going to give you a guarantee. I guarantee you nothing bad's going to happen. It might seem like a long and winding road, but it's going to be a good one. My road to ministry was a long and winding road, but it has blessed me. My anchored in prayer was an immediate yes, and it blessed me. This book I'm supposed to be writing, that people here have even offered to help me. Why am I not doing it? I say it out loud in front of you because I need to say out loud in front of myself. Why are you not doing it? You start and stop and start and stop, and all you're doing is going, I don't need that blessing. Oh. Well, okay. See, there's that voice. Damn. I'm denying the blessing to somebody else. That's what it is. That's why I'm emotional. Because God's like, oh, yeah, it's not just you, kid. So say yes. Whatever it is, however small or big it is, just say yes. Surrender your obstinance. Anybody? I'm so obstinate. Resistance, it's futile. Your fear, the unknown. Everything's unknown. The next second is unknown. Get over it. We all need to get over that unknown thing. It's all unknown. We're just lulled into thinking we know shit. Pardon my French. This is what God called to the pulpit. Ah, Lord. So let's pray with joy, huh? In the joy of the recognition that there is one life, and it is God. It's not God's life, it is God. And it chose 100 billion times to take a human form. Still choosing to take form, still choosing to express and be the silent partner of our goodness. Oh, I can only say thank you. Thank you that my obstinance turns to yes. May that path be ever shorter. May our resistance melt in the light of love as we recognize we are, in fact, the beloved in whom God is well pleased, because it is you, it is me. What else would it be? So in joyful anticipation of the good and the blessings and the thriving that is going to happen with the holy yes, I say amen, thank you, and so it is.